This is the Biola Housing Selection video guide for apartment selection. In this video, I'll cover important dates and deadlines, apartment eligibility and priority, and how the apartments are selected. In order to participate in apartment selection, you must be an undergraduate, unmarried student that is 20 years or older by the first day of fall classes and intend to return to Biola for the fall semester. There's two possible exceptions that can be requested. The first is for students whose 20th birthday is close to September 3rd. These students may request an exception based off of their individual circumstances, and the cumulative class credits will be considered in the decision. The second is for students who will be in the credentialing program or grad students who are already living in undergrad housing and want to live here again next year. Both of these groups should fill out an apartment exception request form on the housing website on or before March 12th. For the past 2 years, apartment priority has been given to current Biola residents who will be 20 years or older and will be seniors by credit. To be considered a future senior, students must have 88 or more units currently in progress at Biola. The more seniors by credit there are in a group, the higher the chances are that they will be guaranteed an apartment during the apartment raffle. So if you're a future senior, you can choose to have a future junior as your roommate, but it will decrease your priority number. Future juniors, take note for next year. If you stay on campus for fall and spring semesters next year, you'll have the highest priority for the apartments next year. If you move off campus, your priority will decrease. The apartments will be raffled off on Monday, March 18th. All apartment applicants will find out in an email sent at noon whether or not they are guaranteed an apartment. If you and your group are guaranteed an apartment, the email will also contain your specific apartment selection time for Tuesday, March 19th. To be included in the apartment raffle, you and all of your roommates must complete steps 2 and 3 by the March 13th deadline. Also, this is critical. On the housing application, you need to answer yes to whether or not you want to be included in the apartment raffle, which is question 2M. In the raffle, your group size determines what type of apartment you can get. So, a group of 2 will qualify for a 1-bedroom, 2-person apartment only, and a group of 3 will qualify for a 1-bedroom, 3-person apartment only. A group of 4 will qualify for a 2-bedroom, 4-person apartment only. Make sure you guys roommate match in my housing by the March 13th deadline, or else it will mess up your chances in the raffle. For the groups that are guaranteed an apartment, you'll move on to step 4, selecting a specific apartment at your selection time during the apartment selection process, which will take place Tuesday, March 19th. If you apply for an apartment and your group doesn't get one during the raffle, we're so sorry, but don't worry, you still have some great options. First of all, you and your roommates will automatically be included in the residence hall selection process beginning on March 28th, and you'll be given priority over students who are not apartment eligible. Right now we have almost 1,200 students who are 20 years and older that chose to live in Biola housing their junior and senior year, and we'd love to have you here again next year if you don't get an apartment. And just a heads up, if you go through this process and select a bed, you and your roommates are contracted for it, and if you decide to cancel at any time, the cancellation fees will apply, so choose wisely. Secondly, you can sign up to be on the apartment standby list in case we get cancellations. We'll send you the link for the apartment standby list as soon as apartment selection is over. And finally, you can move off campus so long as you're not required to live here. Sometimes this can be a really easy option, and sometimes it can get really complicated. So just make sure you know what you're getting into if you live off campus. Be sure to check with financial aid. Make sure that you're not going to impact your aid for the next year. And if you choose non-Biola housing, make sure you or your roommate don't select a bed for you during this process. In fact, I'd recommend you unmatch from any roommates so they don't have the power to select a room for you. So to recap, if you are guaranteed an apartment during the apartment raffle, you'll select your specific apartment on March 19th. If you don't get an apartment during apartment raffle, you'll be included in a residence hall selection process and you'll automatically get to pick a room. Otherwise, your option is to find off-campus housing if you like. Before you select an apartment, do a little research about the available options. For information on each specific apartment, please visit biola.edu/housing and click on Halls and Apartments to take a self-guided tour of any apartment complex you like. You're also welcome to visit the people who live there to see if they'd be willing to show you their apartment. Apartment floor plans will be on the housing selection website before apartment selection date. Remember that the contract is in full effect as soon as you or your roommate select an apartment, so if you change your mind, cancellation fees will apply, and this usually amounts to over $1,000. Also, the housing contract is for both semesters unless you plan to cancel housing for the spring semester because you're going to study abroad, or you're getting married, or maybe you're graduating this fall. If you need help, please let us know. Visit the housing selection website, email us, or give us a call. Feel free to follow us on Twitter for live updates during the apartment selection. Our staff is happy to help you answer your questions about apartment selection.